Every week it is time for Roske on Politics, mainly because this Brett Roske guy.
He keeps showing up.
Comes in.
Hey.
Yeah.
He keeps showing up. So real quick on a personal note, if someone knows who sideswiped a tan Mercedes out front of Carl's bar 2 nights ago, my car. My car. I got my front tires. One's like that, but the other one's straight. It's amazing.
A little toe-in problem there. Yeah.
Gas mileage.
Yeah, that's not a happy holiday thing. But anyway, that will affect the gas mileage, yeah. Let's jump into some politics. This movie is not out yet. It's about to come out. It's called The Big Short. The same guy who wrote the book this is based on, he wrote Moneyball, he wrote The Blind Side. This is all about the housing crisis in 2008. Remember, that collapsed, almost collapsed the world economy. And this walks you through it. Some amazing performances by, say, Steve Carell.
As I say, it was just nominated for a Grammy. Not Grammy. Excuse me, Golden Globe. Those just came out today, so a bunch of nominations for this
Best
film.
Picture, did it get Best Picture now?
I believe it did.
Because it should. I'm surprised they get a supporting actor for Christian Bale here, but Steve Carell, anyway, heck of a movie. If you're interested to learn more about that, see it, but it's also entertaining. So fantastic, just saw that. Let's talk about money in politics.
right.
So, why not?
Well, yeah.
There's a lot of it.
It's the driving
They're
force.
the same thing, really.
It sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. So the Des Moines Register a couple days ago, actually it was Sunday's paper, put out a great story, and they went through all of the dollars that have been spent so far on the election. So I thought it'd be fun. So there has been how much money spent so far on the presidentials nationwide?
Millions.
Take a guess.
Millions and millions.
300 million.
Okay.
200 million.
Okay.
250.
These are solid guesses, you guys. 153 million.
Darn it.
Now, how much of that has been spent just in Iowa? What percentage-wise? So 153 million. How much has been spent in Iowa?
75%.
A third.
I'll go half.
I would have probably said half. 3%.
Really?
What?
It sounds
What?
It sounds crazy. 3%. So only
No way.
4.7 million has been spent in Iowa. Isn't that crazy?
Get over here and spend.
The big states have been getting the money. So here, okay, for instance,
Really?
Casey's General Store. We've been getting a lot of, driving and da-da-da. They've received $37,600 from cumulative campaigns. Iowa State Fair, how much did all the campaigns spend at the Iowa State Fair, do you think?
It can't cost a lot to go.
No,
Yeah,
not really.
tickets and corn
Ticket
dogs.
prices and stuff.
Tickets and corn dogs.
100 grand.
No.
Pork on a chip.
I'll say around that.
Yeah.
Okay, 100. I probably would have said 3,417.
3,000, that's it?
For all of them?
You'd think that there'd be a lot more coming in. Combined Pizza Ranch, as we know, we've had a lot
Probably
of Pizza Ranch
nothing
visits.
because they don't charge for the
Yeah,
room.
that's
Pizza Ranch.
true.
Yeah.
You do have to buy some pizzas, though.
Do you?
Yeah. Pizza Ranch.
So a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, if
Couple,
that.
$831. We're all surprised, though, right? We're surprised. They're getting a lot out. Maybe they should be investing a bit in, more in. So we'll go through a couple. Okay, time-wise, we're going to just talk about a couple exact spendings here. Hillary Clinton has spent $43 million nationwide. In Iowa, she spent $800,000. O'Malley, $2.4 million nationwide. Iowa, he spent $180K. Bernie Sanders, $14 million nationwide. In Iowa, $580,000. So I thought these were interesting. And final two little number things here we'll do here. Governor John Kasich, governor from Iowa, $1.7 million nationwide. In Iowa, $5,500. George Pataki, $390,000 nationwide. Iowa, $5,600. So it's interesting. They have run official campaigns for president, but in Iowa have spent.
They need to kick it up a notch.
Well, there's a
candidates.
reason why
Okay.
no one really knows their names around here either.
Well, that it does correlate. But isn't that interesting? These are real runs for
Wow.
presidency. And they spent
I expected a
$5,000.
lot higher numbers.
I know, interesting. So let's. Governor Rick's former Senator Rick Santorum was here in this studio on Friday. We chatted with him. Let's take a look. The tragic shootings in Paris and now stateside in San Bernardino. What can we do to stop ISIS, or is this just going to be the way it is from now on?
As long as ISIS is a viable state, this is the way it's going to be, and frankly, this is the beginning of the way it's going to be. It's going to get a lot worse. As long as ISIS continues to maintain their territorial integrity, as long as they can say to the radical Islamic world, of which unfortunately it's a growing number, that we are the caliphate, you have to listen to us. We are legitimate under Islamic law. We are fighting the great Satan, the United States of America. We are fighting the West. We are maintaining our ground. And this, I keep coming back to that. One of the most important parts of understanding how to defeat the enemy is under Islamic law. If they can maintain their territorial integrity, the understanding is that Allah is blessing them, protecting them, and they're able to expand, which there are with these attacks. If they're able to project power and maintain their state, that's the 1-2 punch that says we're legitimate. the president's policy of containment is in fact playing right into the hands of what ISIS wants. We can't contain them, because in containing them, you give them legitimacy. What we have to do is defeat them. What we have to do is take land. We don't have to take all of their land, although ultimately that's what you have to do to defeat them. But if you can take back their land, and that's what I've said, first order of business is, I would as president, is to work with the Kurds who are willing to fight and capable fighters. Same thing with the Iraqi Sunnis. I would not partner with Iran. I would not partner with the Sunni, the Shiite militias. I would not partner with Russia or Syria. I partner with Sunni Muslims in the Middle East, particularly in Iraq, and the Kurds. The Sunni Muslims in Iraq will fight if they have good support from the United States. If they have our folks out there with them, with the technology, with the information, with the leadership skills, they have proven time and time again they will hang tough and they will fight if America is at their side. But they won't if they're not, because they don't have the support necessary to be successful. So I said we need to commit the troops necessary to do that. We can defeat ISIS. We will defeat ISIS. And when we do that, these attacks in the United States will be abated.
Why haven't we supported the Peshmerga up till now, and how many troops do you think it'll take, American troops?
General Jack Keane, he's sort of one of my gold standards. He's a guy who's got tremendous experience and knowledge. He's he's a retired Army officer, and he's said repeatedly that we need a minimum of 10,000 troops there, and we have about 3,500 now. So we're looking at another 6,500 troops, most of whom will be engaged in providing the kind of support necessary. But let's be honest, we're going to have American troops in those frontline units taking them back. They have to be on the ground with them, particularly when it comes to the Sunni Iraqis. Not as much so with the Kurds. I think we can provide more rear support for them. But the bottom line is we need to be engaged and involved. We have candidates, unfortunately, like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz, who don't want to be involved, don't want to be engaged in fighting these battles with boots on the ground. They think it's sufficient to bomb. It's not. You're not going to take back ground from the air. You have to take back ground, from the ground, and it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be messy. But the alternative is to continue to see the problems that we have.
So you're going to see a lot more with Senator Rick Santorum. We were here for a half-hour taping that on Friday. But real quick, we've got time to show Senator Rand Paul was in Cedar Falls this weekend. We had a quick chat with him. Let's take a look.
So you mentioned in your remarks you didn't think sending more soldiers into the Middle East was potentially the right idea to contain ISIS. What would you recommend?
The first thing we should do is we shouldn't arm ISIS. We shouldn't arm the allies of al-Qaeda. And we need to realize that in some ways the foreign policy of regime change has made this worse. So when Hillary Clinton and Marco Rubio both say, oh, we need to topple Gaddafi in Libya, it actually made it worse, because when they toppled Gaddafi, we got a failed state, we got the rise of ISIS, and we got the radicalization of Libya. See, they want the same thing in Syria. They want to topple Assad in Syria, but if Assad's gone in Syria, what's going to happen? Maybe ISIS controls all of Syria. So I think we need to rethink what we're doing in the Middle East and think before we act.
People talk a lot about the Keystone Pipeline, but here in Iowa, the Bakken Pipeline, from one corner to the other, and potentially using eminent domain to get the land. What are your thoughts on eminent domain? I'm
against the government using eminent domain for private concerns like this. Now, I know in Iowa they say if it's a utility, they can use eminent domain. Problem is I'm not so sure how you define it as a utility if you're not actually using anything out of that pipeline. My understanding is the pipeline will go all the way under Iowa, but it's not like people are taking oil or gas out of that pipeline to use for electricity. It's just a transit. And so I think we should be very wary of using eminent domain. It's a big disagreement I have with Donald Trump. Donald Trump believes that you should be able to take it for parking lots, for casinos, for his business ventures, and that's very objectionable. And I think most conservatives in Iowa, if they knew Donald Trump was for taking their property for a casino, I think they'd have second thoughts about how much they might want to vote for.
So this Sunday, you'll see a lot more with Senator Rick Santorum, more with Senator Rand Paul, and also some folks at the White House sent me a video of how they go about selecting the Medal of Honor winner.
Oh, really?
Fantastic little 5-minute video that maybe we'll show that next week, because it'll be the week right before Christmas stuff. But it's a wonderful video they put together, and we're kind enough to give me the rights to show it. So you'll see that, all that, awesome. Saturday, Channel 5 at 9:30, Channel 23 at 11:30, Channel 19 at 5:30.
You're all over the place. Perfect.
That's right.
That's awesome. Good job. Thank you, sir.
Always my pleasure, you guys.